Hey, what's up guys? I'm MeloDox, and today I'm getting straight into the Gunsmith on Modern Warfare Beta. This is the edit loadouts, create a class, whatever you want to call it, we're going to get into it. So let's start looking at the guns. So I have a few guns here. The M4 I used a lot. I think it's a really effective gun. It's got mid-range, long-range, even close range. It does enough damage to fend off submachine gun users. So I'm going to get into this. Custom loadout 1. There's the gun. And here's the Gunsmith. So here is what it looks like. This is essentially create a class, but they're calling it the Gunsmith because you get a look at it, and there's more attachments than there's ever been. And this is a lot of attachments we get to go through. So flash guard. This is an early attachment, and they go in order. In the order that you unlock them. So like flash guard be the first, breach second, muzzle third, lightweight fourth. And you level up your guns. This is a max level gun, 30 for the beta build. I don't know if that'll be for the full game, but for now, 30 is the max. You probably prestige your guns or something else. So in the Gunsmith, every attachment has pros and cons, and it even says pros, cons. It tells you what it's doing. So the attachment itself has a thing that it does. So let's go to lightweight suppressor. Lightweight aluminum suppressor sacrifices range for stealth and agility. So sound suppression, your gun's going to sound quieter, but your damage range is reduced. So you're not going to be able to shoot as far with a lightweight suppressor on. And then on the bottom, it shows, increase, decrease. It'll tell you what's going on. And each attachment has these. And some have pros, some have more pros than cons, some have more cons than pros. For example, this one, I think is terrible. Muzzle brake. The pro is recoil control. Now that's very vague because are we talking about verticality? Are we talking about horizontal? Are we talking about sway? A lot of these things are weird in the way they word them. But in the description, usually you can read it and you can kind of get a gist of what they want you to think it's going to do. So redirects gases outward to stabilize the weapon for better control of sustained fire. So it sounds like you're gonna have just a steadier. You're gonna have more control. But then in the cons, it says aiming gun steadiness, and then aim down sight speed. So aim down sight speed is like from the time that you're standing with your gun and then aiming down sight. That is really important when it comes to short range, mid range engagements. And then aiming gun steadiness. I think this is important. I think this is something that you don't want to reduce, because your aiming gun steadiness sounds like I'm assuming that's sway the gun as you're shooting it. So that there's that. But there's all kinds of stuff. You have muzzle, barrel, laser, optic, stock, underbarrel, magazine, rear grip, and perk. And there's a lot to go through. You get 5 slots. You can see on the top left, it's 5 out of 5. I've equipped 5 out of 5. So let's unequip everything. Take everything off on this gun. So this gun has no attachments now. So the stats are neutral. The stats are completely normal now. So we went to the muzzle flash, or the muzzle attachments. You go to flash guard. You can see it. On the stats, mobility, all it shows is a red decrease in mobility, but it doesn't show anything else because all it's doing is muzzle flash concealment. You're not going to be able to see the flash of the gun firing. This one has none, but it's because it has melee quickness, so it's not going to show a stat that is going to change the gun itself. And some of these are very, very distinct. So, for example, the lightweight suppressor, it takes the range down significantly. And it increases the accuracy, I think, by like a hair. I'm talking a hair. I can barely see it. So this is something you guys want to think about: is do you when you look at the thing, are you just looking like, oh, I want to see a bunch of green and not a lot of red? Like that, is that what you're going for? Like it depends on what actually matters. And I think what actually matters is reading the description and looking at the pros and understanding what the pros and cons are versus just looking at your thing and going like, oh, well, that increases mobility. I'm going to put that on. Oh, that increases mobility even more. I'm going to put that on. But what happens is like I said, there's pros and cons, so you have to pay attention to what everything is doing. And in my opinion, the laser sights, unless you're gonna absolute run and gun with an MP5, MP7, something, I'm talking like maximized for just running and gunning. Lasers are essentially a net negative to me because you can see them. Like when you're walking around, if someone's gonna walk through a hallway, you can see their laser sight come to the hallway, so you know where that person is before you hear them and before you can actually see them. So I don't think that's a very good attachment. Maybe on subs if you're just gonna run and gun super fast and you're up on their face before they even know it. Optics are super important, and I think a lot of people default to red dot, which is fine. I default to red dot on a quite a few guns, but in this game specifically, for some reason, ACOG scopes and holographic scopes, in my opinion, are actually better because a lot of your engagements are mid to long range. Because these maps seem, for the flow of them, I find myself having to shoot pretty far, and with just a red dot, it's hard to see them. You get a scope on, you're in caves, you see where they are, you can see them perfectly, they're crystal clear. Or like, for example, on Raid, you got long range of sights. You can see down these long hallways, these long streets, and just boom, immediately. And there's almost no accuracy reduction in when you do this. So like in past Call of Duties, if you put an ACOG scope on, it almost made the gun worse. Like you could see a little farther, but the accuracy went down. It was hard to shoot with them. In this game, it's completely different. Putting scopes on ARs is not even like ridiculous. Like I think it's actually better in some cases if you're gonna go for a mid to long range gun setup. Now, if you did that, then you're gonna want to go with like, reduce the mobility, meaning don't worry about mobility and pick things that increase damage, range, steadiness. That way you can hit those shots better. I don't think there is like one end all be all class. I've seen on YouTube a ton of people are being like, this is the class, this is it, someone got a nuke with it, that means that's the best one. I don't think that's the case, guys. The game is in beta, we don't know what's gonna be the best, and honestly I don't think there's gonna be a best class. Kill time is so fast in this game. It reminds me of Modern Warfare 2 where you could use the ACR, the SCAR, the TAR, the FAMAS, the UMP, the MP5K, the intervention, everything. I felt like every gun was viable because everything did a lot of damage already. There were only minor things that mattered. So like, depending on playstyle, that was literally what it was, and I like that. I like when guns, it's not about like, okay, well this gun does literally the fastest amount of damage, and I have to use it. Okay, well then you gotta use that gun. I don't like that. I like this game specifically right now because of the gunsmith that allows you to style these guns to a point where there's not one like a gun that is the best because it's the best. You can change these pieces out, and you can make some really cool stuff. And I wanted to get in here and show you guys like a max level gun that has all the attachments. You can see all the attachments and see what they are and see what they do and what they change. And I think perks are pretty cool depending on the gun. So like if you have a gun and you're like, man, I don't need an optic, you can put a perk on. Like if it's a gun that doesn't have that many attachments, go with a perk. Because I think FMJ is actually really important because you can shoot through almost anything in this game. You can shoot through concrete walls, wood, and a lot of stuff. You can shoot through a lot of things. So like this one's really good for ARs. Stance training. Your crouch and prone control is better. So like when you're in crouch or prone, which for a lot of people they think, oh, we're gonna camp. I don't necessarily think, running through the map, positioning yourself in a position where you know where enemies are coming, and then waiting for them to show themselves. I don't think that's necessarily camping. Camping is like a whole other level of like, okay, I'm prone, laying down in a building with a sniper, and I'm not moving, and I'm just gonna keep going there and laying down. I think that's camping. When you're playing an objective or whatever, I think if you are aware, like, okay, they're gonna be over here, that's not camping. You're just aware that they're there, and you're not just sprinting to them, so they can have a chance to see you first and shoot. So I think people need to get that out of the way and just start focusing on playing the game instead of worrying about everyone camping. That's a whole other video. But yeah, the perks are cool. I've been rambling. There's a lot I got into this video. There's a lot of things that I got into that are side rants, but a lot of this has to do with, you know, guns in this game are almost all, they're all good. They all can be good, and I like that because of all the attachments that all the guns have. I like that a lot. You know, I don't have almost. This is a very low level gun, so I don't have that many attachments unlocked. You can see where they would be unlocked. But like, I think the gunsmith really adds a layer to the game that is important because you're playing an FPS. The gun is what is important. You know, like it's this. This gun is what is important. You know, this is what you are looking at. It's like your character. You know, you can put a ghillie suit on. You can have a cool skin. You can look like Master Chief in Call of Duty. It doesn't matter. This is what you see when you're playing the game, and I think that's really cool that they thought they put that aspect in this game, and this is what is important: the gun and the attachments. You get a relationship with the gun, the way you use, and I like that because I always felt like that. I'm like, the gun is what I'm using. That's what I like. You know, that's what I want to be able to customize and make awesome. So I'm really excited about the gunsmith, guys. Well, that was a huge rant. We went over a lot of things. You got to see all the attachments. You now understand that just because it's green and red, that doesn't, you know, necessarily mean, oh, good. Green means good, red means bad. Like, sometimes you have to read the descriptions and understand what's going on in your gun. And don't just think because some guy got a nuke with a gun or some guy went on like a 30 kill streak or whatever, and that's end all be all gun. That's not the fact, guys. You can try all the guns, use them, use what fits you, and add attachments, take them off, put them on, see what changes things. Because sometimes those red green bars, I've learned, sometimes it doesn't even matter. Sometimes you can just put something on, it makes no sense, and it works for you. So, guys, get in the gunsmith and try it out and use it and have fun with it. Well, guys, that's it for me. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, helps me out. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I'm going to be posting a lot more. Comment, let me know what you guys think about the gunsmith and what type of things have you done with the gunsmith. Or do you think it's in depth? Do you like what they've done? What are you doing? So hit the comments, guys. Yet again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Rate, comment,